Roger Federer to serve. Play.
Federer to start.
Fifty.
33 straight grass court wins for the defending champion. In amongst those wins, 2 Wimbledon titles, 3 in Halle. González playing in his first ever Wimbledon quarter-final.
How does that sound for having equal chance?
14.
Federer, very calm start. 3 first serves in.
First game.
Everybody has nerves at this stage of a championship quarter-final. This is a big day for all 8 players concerned. That will certainly have settled any jitters in Federer's corner. In many ways, the quality of this match all ends up on the end of Fernando González's court. If he can find his game, we should have something quite special.
We know by now what to expect from Federer. That means perfection. That's, we mentioned how many grass court games and matches in a row. 33 matches in a row. That's 3 years.
15.
But González responding here with the first ace of the match.
Second ace of the match. It takes his tally for the championship to 71. Welcome to my world.
50.
Taking the return nice and early, stepping it in and forehand down the line. A winner. No chance for González.
Game. González. One game all.
Beautiful day here at Wimbledon once again. There are some showers forecast for later on this afternoon. We hope they stay away, at 20% risk of thunderstorms. But at the moment it's quite muggy, humid, close conditions.
50 love.
González not finding his range on the returns yet. Federer hasn't dropped a point. Heavy topspin on the forehand. Easy follow smash.
50.
Oh, that's just a little tempting morsel from González.
40-30.
Crystal clear winner down the line. Still game point for Federer.
Game, Federer. Federer leads 2-1. First set.
5 minutes played on serve, 2-1 to Federer in the opening set of this men's quarter-final. Fernando González, only the second Chilean to reach a Wimbledon quarter-final, the other Ricardo Acuna. González now 24 years of age, born and still resides in Santiago. Currently 24 in the world in the entry system, has been as high as number 13 in 2003, his first ever Wimbledon quarter-final. He's been to the last 8 of the French and the US Open. González's route through, as Sue said at the start, yet to drop a set. Alan Mackin, the British wildcard, straight sets. Thomas Zib, straight sets. Joachim Johansson, that was a surprise result for me. You remember Joachim Johansson defeated Greg Rosetsky in the previous round. Mikhail Yuzhny of Russia, 3 straight sets as well. 6 hours and 57 minutes spent on court. As you said, Boris, González at times can hit blistering winners, but at other times can hit the back fence on a regular occasion. So the unforced error count will be an indication of how well González is playing today.
Very much so, but so far in the tournament he hasn't dropped a set yet, which is so he must be in fine form. A touch of class by Federer.
Love, 50.
Just chipping the ball on González's feet.
Love, 30. $15-30. $15-40.
Break points for Federer after a double fault by González. 15-40. First moment of crisis for the man, South America.
Game, Federer.
It's one of those forehands that you were talking about, Boris, that hits the back fence on the fly, and it's handed Federer an early break.
Federer leads 3-1.
That's really the enigma that is Fernando González. One day he can play like a peacock, the next he can turn into a feather duster.
Roger very confident. Strides around the court like he owns it. He never seems to be in a rush. He never seems to be hurried. Very much control of his game and his emotions.
Love. 40-15.
Federer here with his part-time coach Tony Roach on the right, and his girlfriend Miroslava Vavrinek, also his agent Miroslav.
Game, Federer. Federer leads 4-1. First set.
It's a quick fire, 5 games in the opening set, and Federer's got the best of them, 4 in total, and has dropped just the 1 set en route. Roger Federer, that to Nicholas Kiefer in the 3rd round. Kiefer should have taken the world #1 and defending champion to 5 sets, but Federer, as normal, pulls it out of the bag. Started the defence against Paul-Henri Mathieu. Federer now 23 years of age, 29 singles titles to his credit, 11 last year, 7 this year already. Here's his route through. Paul-Henri Mathieu. Many people thought it would be quite a difficult encounter against the big-hitting Frenchman. No problems. Ivo Minar of the Czech Republic, no problems again. Nicholas Kiefer, 4 sets. Juan Carlos Ferrero gave it absolutely everything on centre the other day and couldn't get a set off Roger Federer. Head-to-heads, this is their 5th meeting, and no surprise that that's the scoreline. Federer 4, González 0. The last time they met on the hard courts of Indian Wells, the Masters Series there, Federer 6-3, 6-2. It's their first meeting on grass, though.
Light. First. Left.
González here with his coach Horacio de la Peña, a former player himself on the tour.
Played him a couple of times.
No doubt you beat him.
Well, on clay he was a tough opponent, but on...
but you still beat him.
I did.
Love. Love.
Another very quick service game. It's just too bad González is down a break.
Game, González. Federer leads 4-2.
González's first love service hold of the match, and maybe an indication that he's just starting to settle down here on court 1. And if that is the case, then the fireworks should begin.
Here we go. That's the first one.
Love 50.
And he's way behind the baseline, and he accelerates, just lets the forehand fly. This time inside the court.
Love 30.
First moment of crisis here for the young Swiss.
has certainly been lit under Fernando González after that love service hold.
Love, 14.
He's now starting to fire off both wings. 3 opportunities to recover the early break.
He had the corner. Federer was going for González backhand. González anticipated, but hit in the net. So about 2 more chances for the Chilean.
Oh.
González. New balls, please. Federer leads 4 games to 3. First set.
González breaks back with an 87-mile-per-hour forehand return win across court, and he's just warming up.
And that's the danger, and here's his reaction, pumping himself up, and rightly so. That's the danger about playing González. You never really know what to expect. This guy can put together 3 winners out of nowhere, and you're losing the service game without really playing a poor game. Yet on the other hand, he's not known for his consistency, so he can hit those 3 balls out of the stadium as well. So that's why it's very tough to have a game plan. It's basically playing consistent, doing what you're supposed to do, and just hope that González doesn't have his best day. He's changing his grip. An American called Vitas Gerulaitis. He used to do that on every changeover. I asked him after the match, I mean, don't your hand hurt a little bit after all the changeovers? This is what calms me down. That's what he said. So.
And it was gauze in those days as well, wasn't it? It wasn't these softer regrips that they use now. It was gauze.
Yep.
Similar to what they use in hospitals. So we're back on serve here, and just an early indication of what may be in store from González in that last service break.
But as you said earlier, this match has finally started. The first 7 games they were teasing each other, and I think finally they settled both down. Backhand winner down the line again, way behind the baseline, but that's his favorite shot. You're bound to make a few mistakes, taking so many chances, but as long as you hit or make an unforced error at 40 love and serving, it's accepted. But already 6 unforced errors by González. That's early going the first set.
Well left by González, and used the new balls to his advantage, levelling up at 4 games apiece, having been 4-1 down in the first set. So González has got the momentum on his side of the court now. Federer's got to halt it right here.
If the Spanish supporters in the crowd are heard "Arriba, arriba," guess that means let's go.
50 love.
It's just another example of González having almost too much power in his hand.
This is the difference between the two players, that Federer does have the ability to serve and volley to a very high level. González doesn't. No way! Oh, do me a favour. That has to be the point of the championship. Come on.
30-15.
And Federer actually doing right here, hitting onto the body of González, but another quick reaction gave him this spectacular point. But Federer not rattled. Cool, casual volley here.
Game, Federer. Federer leads 5 games to 4. First set.
And Federer with his hands full on court number 1, but over on centre, Feliciano Lopez has the 3rd seed in trouble. He has an early break of serve against Leighton Hewitt. So doing well on centre court. Feliciano Lopez will be joining that match shortly on BBC One. But here on 2, we're back to Federer.
Thank you, Sue. And nobody will want a refund here on court number 1 after one extraordinary rally that saw Fernando González invent a shot that I don't think I've ever seen played on a grass court, let alone any other court. Look at that. A forehand scoop with side spin, backspin, and alerted the net enough to play a reflex volley. Never saw that in your day, Boris. Well, I saw the reflex volley, but have you ever seen that before?
Well, I've seen once Michael Chang playing an underhand serve against Ivan Lendl a long time ago.
Semi-finals of the French.
Semi-finals of the French, and even Chang won that point. I think it's catching your opponent by surprise. You would never expect anyone to hit that shot, let alone on grass against Federer. But that tells me that González is very confident today. He's already passed his expectations. He's lost to Federer twice already this year, so he feels like it's his day potentially. You know, he's looking very good early on.
I think there are a lot of people here sitting on court 1 that have never ever seen Fernando González play, probably never ever heard of him, and there are audible gasps every time he winds up for a big forehand.
That was another unforced error after such spectacular backhand. That's going to be the story of the match. How many unforced errors González will hit? Federer getting excited, saying come on after this important point. Makes up a return, but Hawkeye suggests that this ball is long. Good call by the linesman, a woman in this case.
Lane. First. 40, 30.
And the forehand finding the sideline from González.
Deuce.
Interesting, Federer going back to the González forehand. González very aware that he wants to try and get into his backhand corner to hit the off forehand as much as possible. Federer just catching González' lack of movement back to that forehand side.
González.
Great change of tactics here, coming in after the second serve, catching Federer by surprise, and this smash is easily put away by González, giving him game point for 5-all. But again, he's not afraid to come in. He's not afraid of Federer today.
Game, González.
He's looking very good. And his coach Horacio de la
5
Pena
games all.
clapping hands, and he should. They talked before the match, and so far de la Pena told him the right things.
Yeah, certainly been a sunny start from both men, in particular González having recovered from 1-4. I wonder whether González would have got to this stage, the quarterfinals, if it had been a wet first week of Wimbledon and the ball hadn't been bouncing up so high.
30.
I think everything is playing slower and certain because of the weather, and that's very beneficial for all the South Americans with the heavy topspin off the ground. Beautiful backhand.
14 love. Game, Federer. Federer leads 16-5. First set.
This is the type of match, Boris, where if you shut your eyes and just listen to the strike of the ball and the sound of both players, you could tell exactly who was hitting each shot, because González plays with a big thud but also a hefty grunt, and Federer just plays in silence at the end of the court.
Yeah, Federer doesn't use as much energy to play tennis in general, but certainly on the ground strokes, and González is the complete opposite, where he's using every ounce of strength in his body to accelerate, and I guess that's the reason why he sometimes just overhits. He's not always in control of that, and as the tournament progresses, I'm sure González gets far more tired, and especially in that match, I think in the later stage you see González will huff and puff around if we get to a fourth or fifth set, and Federer is going to stay his usual cool and relaxed, even if it's 5-all in the fifth set.
Both these men were quality juniors in their day. Federer won the 1998 Wimbledon junior title, ended the year as world #1, and because of that probably dyed his hair blonde. And the same year González won the French junior title and finished the year at #4. So these two have grown up together. Never played each other in juniors though, remarkably.
Love, 15.
Federer here a bit quicker on the return. I think he doesn't want to play a tiebreaker here. It's too dangerous against González.
All.
That's another unforced error. He's 10th of the match. And it's coming at a critical moment. 15-30. 5-6. Checking his strings.
30.
González at the moment 71% first serves in, Federer 72. So high quality in that department from both men. Second double fault from González, and Federer with a set point.
Fixing his hair.
Deuce.
And another big serve on Federer's forehand.
González just stares in bewilderment at Federer. How on earth did he make that shot?
Advantage, Federer.
And the angle he used. I almost thought he hit it bounce twice, but it didn't. And clenching his fist here gives him another set point.
First set, Federer 7-5 in 33 minutes, and the defence of Federer in the last couple of points absolutely immense. And it's not often talked about. The silky skills are always talked about with Federer, but the defence there, Boris, in those last 2 points, exquisite.
And again, it's the footwork by Federer. He's actually at the back of the court, touching almost the fence, and he's not giving up the point, whether it was the drop shot or this long rally, making González hit another shot, knowing that he's so prone of unforced errors, and eventually this fighting spirit and his footwork gave him the first set. But the last 2 points, one of the best 2 points I've seen in the championship.
And lo and behold, it was the defending champion who played them. That pick-up as well at deuce really was something special. You said the speed of Federer, but also the ability to think on his feet and think, okay, where am I going to put this one? And then the control with the racket face just to flick it across the front of González. That was a real body blow from Federer.
It was a perfect situation though for González to go for a diving volley. I mean, imagine that shot for the highlight show tonight and all the galleries. It's on those moments, you know, you can make your name, and González had the chance.
Yes. Well, such is the quality at the end of that first set that all that everybody's asking here on court one is for more of the same. Federer to start set number 2.
50.
And the Federer on the second serve, coming in more and more on the González backhand.
30 love. First serve.
Third ace by Federer.
Game, Federer. First game, second set.
Federer's second love service hole of the match. Invariably has been holding his serve quite comfortably, other than the relinquishing that early break in the 7th game. But that was more to do with González's play than Federer's dip in form. That opening set, the first set that González has dropped in the championship.
Love, 30.
A wild forehand, but Federer is sensing this moment here. González is a bit off, you know, was surprised by all the gets Federer had to win this first set, and he's winning 8 points in a row here now. Federer.
15-30.
Return was a little high, middle of the court.
This forehand clocked at 100 miles per hour. That's probably the biggest forehand clock to date.
15-14.
But it's also a forehand that can put him in trouble, González, and it's done so right here. It's all well and good having the fastest gun in the West, but if it misfires regularly, you'll get taken down.
13-14. Federer leads 2 games to 0.
That's what I meant with the momentum switching. Federer knows by all the big matches he's played when to accelerate, when to put pressure on the opponent. And just gives you another example that he's a thinking man's player.
Such has been the brilliance of Federer with some of the gets he's had this afternoon. You half expected him to make this.
Trying one here between the legs. It's always a dangerous shot for any man.
Sound effects.
15-30.
González breaks back, I'll react. He doesn't.
And he comes forward when he has to. Not on every serve, not on every approach shot, but whenever he really is under pressure, that's when he chooses to take control of the rally early and finishing it at the net. González was caught in no man's land between the service line and the baseline. Tried for another lob, but point for Federer.
It's on the line. Federer touched the net anyway, or rather fallen into the net.
Deuce.
Another incredible get. This time I didn't want to be hit by González, I suppose. How quick is this young man from Switzerland? There. Oh!
I think it's at times what everybody feels like doing when González lines up one of his forehands.
Come on. Advantage Federer.
González hitting this return with the frame.
Federer leads 3 games to love, second set, and by 1 set to love.
So Federer, a set and a break up on court 1, and over on centre court, Hewitt has regained control. He was a break of serve down in the first set. He broke back, broke again to take that first set against Feliciano Lopez 7 games to 5. You can see that match now over on BBC One, but here we're staying on court.
Federer changing his headband here. First one. The hair is going too wild that he needs to have a stronger strap. There you go.
Not sure you can talk about wild hair, Boris, but there you go.
At least I didn't have a headband.
That's true.
And it's under control. Yeah. Put it back a little bit.
I'm sure we all have annoying habits and superstitions. Federer's annoying habit is actually when he's asleep, he wakes himself up because he finds that he's banging his head on his pillow. Didn't know that, did you, Boris?
No, I was. Give me 10 seconds to think about that one.
So González with a job to do here. He's a set and 3 love down, just the one break of serve. But if Federer continues on his roll, then this will be a rather quick afternoon for González in his first ever Wimbledon quarter-final. Needs a service hold here.
This time is doing the Federer. After a good ground stroke, is finishing the ball at the net. So Chris, tell me, what was that drop shot about?
Don't know. I'm not sure that González knows either.
And worst of all, Federer doesn't know what to do with it. Five unforced errors by Federer. It's acceptable.
It's almost at times that González just can't resist a challenge. Federer had said, okay, if you want to hit a winner, just go for it down the line. González says, all right, I will. Misses. Federer feels that one was long.
Game, González.
Norm Christ in the chair. And, well, that's a tough one to overrule if he was going to intervene.
Federer leads 3-1.
That's what Federer thought of it. Norm Christ from the USA.
Very experienced man on the chair. He's been around for a long time. There's a lot of respect among the players, but he's also not known of overruling a whole lot.
Which is good, in my opinion.
Yes, we have enough linesmen out there to do their job, plus the Cyclops for the service line.
15 left.
Federer runs around the backhand and giving González enough room to go for his favorite backhand down the line winner.
And almost a warning shot as well, that backhand down the line from González, for Federer, just to make sure that he'll be fully concentrated right the way through to the end of this match, because González, as we continually say, is dangerous, whatever the scoreline.
Game, Federer. Federer leads 4-1, second set, and by 1-0.
Federer continuing to cherish just the one break of serve in this second set, and a 4-1 lead, a similar scoreline that he had in the first set before González staged a comeback. González yesterday spent some of the time on the London Eye. There he is with one of our reporters, or there it is. Battersea Power Station alongside as well. Almost a haze across London, 2012 candidate city for the Olympic Games.
Chris, are you going to Singapore on Monday after the tournament to support the bid?
I am. Are you?
Well, I'm German after all. We wish we have a chance, but we lost in the first round.
Pretty much like your football team then, at the moment.
We get to that later. We get to that. Federer not only changing his headgear, but now his shirt. Yes, it's a very warm and muggy day out there. Federer is sweating quite a bit. González makes him work. Now he's ready to go. Well, credit to González. Federer played the perfect grass court shot. But it seems to me when Federer is up a break, he's almost cruising. He's not giving it all on the return. It's just saving a bit of energy.
Similar to the way that Pete Sampras used to go about his trade on the grass and get the one break and just hold on to that, and if a second break came along you'd take it, but you wouldn't bust a gut to get it.
Very, very true.
I'm not totally convinced that that's the best way to go about taking care of Fernando González. One break at times is not enough, because he can quite easily step up in the next returning game and hit 4 winners in a row.
It's true too. So let's ask Roger after the match.
Yes.
It's a bit Yeah, just went for the backhand a bit too early.
Federer leads 4-2.
But I guess if you're the #1 player in the world, you haven't lost on grass for almost 3 years. You have the luxury to pick your spots when you put pressure, when you accelerate, or when you decelerate.
Love, 15.
Well, this is where González made his move in the first set at 2-4.
Kind of very low percentage shot by González, hitting a backhand return over the high part of the net. It's bound to be an unforced error. Federer again, surprising González with the second serve and volley. It's been a very good tactic throughout this match so far.
40-15.
Yeah, he stays back on the first serve and he plays a volley off the second.
For Roger Federer, this time at 4-2 in a set, just pulls away once more, and González will come out after the sit down to serve to stay in the second set and not face a 2-sets-to-love deficit. You mentioned that serve and volley statistic from Federer, which is staggering really when you look at this. Just serving and volleying at 19%, but Boris, you said that serving and volleying more on the second serve, which he is 21% compared to 17% on his first serve.
That's something unusual for the grass court king, but obviously he knows what he's doing. I think he doesn't want to be predictable on his serve. He wants to keep the opponent guessing, and he's doing a very good job on it because his percentage on winning the second serve is very, very high, and it's because the opponent, in this case González, doesn't really know what's he doing next.
You said at the start of today's program, but this is the day when boys have to turn into men. Have you seen a man's performance so far today from Federer?
Very much, a very calculated, a very organized match. He started off very, very concentrated, got the early break. Even though González came back, he was able to raise his game at the end of the first set and took his momentum early on in the second set. And again, a very controlled second set by the older player.
Love, 15.
Yeah, this ground stroke by Roger Federer was a very short, middle of the court, no problem for González to hit the winner.
First.
González not really playing the point after Federer's penultimate shot he felt was long. See what Hawkeye makes of it. And González possibly didn't have a point catching the back edge.
Federer just sneaking in behind this slow cross court. Put away the volley just a bit wide. Again, keeping González guessing what he's doing next.
Deuce.
González, for the first time in the match, serving volleying off his first serve without much success.
Advantage Federer.
It's wild again. An enormous swing from González on the forehand side. Unforced error number 18 from the Chilean. Federer with a point for a 2-sets-to-love lead.
Game, second set, Federer. 6 games to 2. Federer leads 2 sets to 0.
So all Roger Federer out on court number 1, and over on centre court for Leighton Hewitt has taken that first set, and it is on serve in the third set, 3-2 to the number 3 seed, and you can see that match on BBC One.
Federer at the moment is rather like a runaway train, unstoppable it seems. Well, it's just 62 minutes of play. The defending champion has a 2-sets-to-love lead, and you wonder whether González has the game to change it up and has the ability in the head as well to try and find a way back into this one.
I think that's the bigger question mark, whether he has the mental capability to accept this 2-sets-to-love advantage for Federer, regroup and concentrate what you do best. That's giving it all out, going for your shots, not thinking that you're playing Federer, not thinking that you play the defending champion or you're in the quarterfinal of Wimbledon. Just play your game 1 point at a time. That's going to be his next big question. And his coach De La Peña knows exactly that this is a very much an uphill battle now, hoping his young pupil will respond accordingly.
Yes, González only once in his career has come back from a 2-sets-to-love deficit. So at least he considered the side have got here and have that knowledge that it's possible. He has done it on one occasion, although not against the world number 1 and reigning champion of Wimbledon.
But altogether, physically, I think González is fine. They only played a little bit over an hour, so that shouldn't be a factor of his comeback. It's just that he has to get down to business now and play tough in the first couple of games of this set.
First serve.
Obviously, Roger has a different idea about the third set. Not easy.
15 love.
Changing his mind a couple of times. At the end, lets the ball drop. But he still has the court coverage to know where his opponent is.
All.
Most people would have played this on the backhand side, but not González.
Trying to make it as difficult as possible. Again, when no one expects a winner or big shot, González is able to produce. Whenever he has a relatively easy one, he's not doing the job. He waited a long time to make his decision. Really checking González the whole time.
Game, Federer. First game, third set.
Federer once again starting off the set with a fairly emphatic hold to 30. Is this, Boris, as a player when you're at your most vulnerable, when you've had a 2 sets to love lead, just to have that potential dip?
Well, naturally you would now lean back a little bit, you're in cruise control, you're up 2 sets to love. But this is, again, it's the quarterfinal. Federer knows he doesn't want to spend any extra minute out there, because his goal is to defend his title, not only to win this match. So that's what he's concentrating on, get this job done in 3 sets. González a bit lucky there with that neck cord. Federer trying to approach on the second serve, but González was ready again. The favorite backhand did the winner.
Ball.
There's not too much subtlety about González's game at times. That short ball, just wanted to play with a fraction more care.
Why play easy if it could be done difficult?
First. Out. Game, González.
Overrule from the chair, non-press, I think the correct one. Federer not complaining. González pretty much appealed for it.
That was the first in the match by the umpire, Norm Christ.
15 love. Love. First serve.
Almost made it.
14 love.
A delicate angle and almost González almost ran over his own back down the side on the chair. Huh.
Game. Federer.
They're playing cutie out here this afternoon.
2 games to 1. Third set. And by 2 sets to love.
Yes, and they play a little bit more like that. There's only really one winner, and that's Roger Federer, isn't it, in the cute stakes, as far as subtleties are concerned. Let's have a look at Federer's service pattern with Hawkeye against Juan Carlos Ferrero. It was dot the dot, really. No real pattern. Maybe a fraction more to Ferrero's backhand side body as well, but a fairly even spread. And then today against Fernando González, very much a pattern developing. All the second serves going to the weaker wing, the backhand wing. No surprise really that he wants to stay away from the forehand with the second serve.
Well, the surprise really is how much Federer can vary second serve. Again, we're talking about a dangerous shot, second serve, you make a mistake, it's a double fault immediately. So the fact that he can vary and mix it up from opponent to opponent makes him so much more tough to play, because usually you would figure on a second serve at least there have a crack at the return. But Federer, according to the opponents, mixes it up perfectly.
How much input do you think Tony Roach is having in his game as well?
Well, when he came into the picture at the beginning of the Australian Open, Federer was already #1 in the player, yet he wasn't satisfied, and that again speaks for the professionalism of Federer. He wanted to play better, and I think with the expertise and experience by Tony Roach, he did a very good choice. Now, he hasn't won a Grand Slam yet with Roach on his side, but he had a great run at the Australian Open. He lost in the semi-final, his best ever French Open, losing the semi-final, and it looks like there's another semi-final appearance in the sky. So in other words, the relationship does work very well. At the end of the day, they're looking for trophies, and that's what they will talk about at the end of the year. Yeah. Federer broke in all the first 2 sets at 2-1, and this seems to be the pattern here for that third set. Again, it's love 30 on González serve at 2-1 Federer.
(15-13).
He's been seeing the González serve well today, Federer. Well, if that doesn't get González going, nothing will. 13-stroke rally, every one a beauty. González ends up winning it somehow.
All.
You see the excitement.
González on an adrenaline high at the moment. Federer's trying to live with him.
Look at that get.
40-30.
The net. And he says, vamos, vamos. Guess that's how you have to play when you're facing the #1 player in the world. Your very best.
You wonder now if that could be a turning point somehow for González's game right now. Can he continue with the adrenaline rush? He's having to redline his game at the moment. Federer still at 2,500 RPMs.
Let for serve.
That's a little short. But how that match went, I wouldn't be surprised if González would have gotten this smash back. The more difficult it is, the better González plays. So I was waiting for him in the wings here, flying through the air.
González, in many ways, just still trying to recover from his service hold. Keeps on doing the same thing, serve and volleying on the second onto the González backhand return.
Game, Federer. New balls, please. Federer leads 3-2, third set, and by 2 sets to love.
Well, let's quickly update you on what's happening over on centre court and at the business end of the set, just as Hewitt did in the first. He put the pressure on, and so he's taken that second set now to lead 2 sets to love over Feliciano Lopez. The winner of that match will play the winner of the one we're enjoying on court 1.
And it's looking like it will be Roger Federer to go through to the semi-finals. He's 2 sets to the good at the moment there and 20 minutes played, but Fernando González is having to cover some ground at the moment just to live with the world #1. Look at the effort he's having to put in just to win one single point.
And he's going from side to side basically the whole match. And Federer giving a smash and him way behind the baseline, winning that point.
Time.
So nice and warm out here. All the ladies in the stands. Good for their Santa.
A fraction more cloud cover than we started with, but nonetheless still a warm day. There is some rain forecast for later on this afternoon.
But
Hopefully.
much later.
Okay,
Chris.
I believe you. Everybody would like to get all of the men's quarters done and dusted today.
And González is playing with new balls. They have a bit more spring, a bit more speed to them. That's caused an unforced error by Federer. Third double fault by González. Again, serving with new balls, something I never liked. Because really different to control the balls, especially on the second serve.
First serve.
That looked dangerous there for a second. Almost twisted his knee.
30-50.
Oop.
Yes, could have hyperextended that right knee. That could have been quite nasty for González. Federer just annoyed with himself that he went straight back to him.
Powerful play by the Chilean. He's not afraid of coming to the net more and more.
First serve.
Says the Swiss can't play football. He would have made a good striker. Very much into his FC Basel, the champion Swiss first division the last couple of years.
40-30.
I think Federer would be good at whatever he chose to do. Football, basketball, ping pong.
Game, González. Three games all.
Certainly as a young man, Roger Federer is into all sports, could never sit still at home, was always finding something to do to amuse himself. All of a sudden, González has turned into a touch player.
Low, 15.
This time a drop shot with the forehand. Roger gets easily back the ball, but González gets the better of it.
Low, 30.
And Francisco González is raising his level.
Just hear the importance that Federer put on that
30
point.
all.
And still fully aware that González poses a threat against him until the last ball has been struck.
Ball.
And his second serve does the damage, this time going wide onto González's forehand. It's really keeping the opponent guessing all the time what he does with his serve.
Game. Federer. Federer leads 4 games to 3. Third set. And by 2 sets to 1.
That last service sold for Federer, a wonderful example of why he's the world's best, because he was facing a player that was, as you said, Boris, raising his level, getting something going, and Federer just said, okay, I'm going to live with you, and in fact I'm going to surpass you to edge ahead.
And that's the tough part for any opponent Roger Federer is facing, is that he's able to raise his game to a level nobody can come with him. And that's been the reason he's such a demanding and comfortable #1 in the world. It's because he always has an answer to the opponent's play. And in this case, González is playing his best set so far. He's really applying the pressure, playing well on his serve. Yet Roger, when he has to, finds the answers.
González certainly a credit to his country, Chile. No grass courts in Chile, plenty of fine wine, but no grass courts to practice on. Learnt his trade on clay courts, and in many ways as well, this is an example of how the courts have changed through the years. González getting through to the last 8. Now Bandian again as well. Hewitt, we're talking baseliners here, not serve and volleyers.
So ever since the Olympic gold medal, last year's Summer Olympics, he's a very big superstar in his home country of Chile. Something like 10,000 people when Nicolas Massou, his doubles partner, arrived at the airport. I think this match is televised live in Chile as well. All his family will be watching. González not expecting the ball to come back and surely wasn't ready for that volley. Federer over and over again gets to every ball. This time though with a miss.
First.
Going for a very big second serve. And a very poor second serve. Very much the González we've seen all match. High quality tennis with a very poor shot selection.
Yes, just stretching his back a little bit as he walked towards our commentary box. González looked in a little bit of pain. González this time inflicting pain on Federer. 4-all third set. Could start to get lively.
4 games all.
And that's what we would hope to see a bit more, because González is a very talented man with a wide range of shots. Starting to play better and better.
Love.
Roger almost had too much time and hit that one just long.
Half a chance really for González. Was certainly there to at least make Federer play the volley. And Federer feels that one was long. Don't often see this from Federer, barking at the linesman on the baseline. Tough to see from there. See what Hawkeye makes of it. And Hawkeye suggesting that the ball clipped the back edge of the line. Maybe just a sense that Federer feeling the pressure here of González. Third set, 4-all, 30-all.
Another second serve. Let's see what he does with it.
Well, serves and volleys, but this time González was waiting for it with a backhand grip almost.
30-40.
Biggest point of the match so far for that man.
That's González. Yes, we know him too. The unpredictable.
All or nothing, wasn't it, from González?
Advantage Federer.
In his defence, for that break point that González had, I have seen him make that forehand on a regular occasion, that break point up. But I've also seen him miss it plenty of times as well.
Game, Federer.
No second chance for González in that game. Federer just steps it up.
5 games to 4. Third set, 2 sets to love.
Edges ahead once more.
But this is a quarterfinal Wimbledon. You don't have many chances, especially not against the #1 player in the world. There was his big chance here to go at least up a break in the third set. He would be serving for the third set. So Roger's not giving him twice the chance.
So do you advocate just tempering your natural instinct to put the ball in court?
Well, you have to realize where you are. You have to realize that you have maybe 1 or 2 chances per set. And if you haven't made them in the first 2 sets, you should take off some of the power and some of the danger. Just put the ball back in play. Maybe Roger actually misses the ball too. But nobody knows it now, since Francisco González went for a screamer to the bottom of the net.
It's a fine line, isn't it, Boris, between ending up a fool and ending up a genius. If he'd have made it, we'd have been waxing lyrical about how he had the stomach to take it on at such a vital moment.
But chances are, otherwise he would be in many more quarterfinals and semifinals, especially in Grand Slam, that he's not making it. And for such a talented player, he should be up there in the top 10, in my opinion, with all the power and all the shot selection he has. Yet he's choosing for the moment to go for broke on shots he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, it's all been about finding the right balance today for Fernando González, who's receiving some encouraging support from this Court 1 crowd. They want to see more of this. The Chilean serving to stay in the quarter-final.
Love, 15.
And he overhits again. And Roger on the other side is sensing the moment. He knows that this is up for grabs now.
15 all. Wait, please.
Federer, even though it's dangerous, keeps going back on González's forehand. It's the more powerful shot, but it's also the one he is having more unforced errors with him. So it's a dangerous play by Federer, but so far it's paying off. González changing the racket in the middle of a service game. It's also something most players wouldn't do.
That last forehand from González, 105 miles per hour. Federer still feels that he should have got it back. He's berating himself down at here.
40-30.
Again, we're not talking about a serve, we're talking about a forehand off the baseline, right?
Yeah, we are.
Deuce.
And Roger making González play for every single point. That's the difference. If he comes up with winners, too good.
Advantage González. Game González. Five games up.
The 40 minutes of play, 5-all in the third set. Seems to me that this set so far has been the best, especially by González, raising his level.
15 love.
But not really impressed, says the Swiss. Roger knows what he has to do. His 7th ace.
Make that 8, that's 3 on the bounce. Can Federer complete the game? Don't often see this in tennis. If he does, 4 aces in a row.
Game, Federer.
Almost the same thing.
Almost. A game that lasted all of a minute.
6 games to 5.
Federer again just pushes ahead by the 1 game. We'd love to see a tiebreak here, because then it would be really fascinating, because then González, you could say, comes into his own, because he could take a couple of points against the Federer serve with 2 big returns or 2 big forehands, and we could have a 2 sets to 1 match.
And Federer knows that too, so I can't wait for him to return now to see how much he's going to raise his game, because he doesn't want to be in a tiebreaker 4-all, 5-all, and then maybe one of González running wild forehands will clip the tape and hit the line. So he's very much aware of that this man from Chile is a very dangerous player.
Time.
Wonder who she supports. Got a real treat here today, this Court 1 crowd. It's a full house. No refunds required, I'm sure, from what they've seen so far. Thomas Johansson, David Nalbandian follow this one. Second quarter of the final of the day out here, but there may be more life in this. González once more serving to stay in the championship.
50.
You don't see that often. An unforced error by Federer that hit the fence. Another one. Huh. Praising this man that is raising his level of play, and he comes up with 3 unforced errors basically.
Game, González.
Not sure González expected such an easy service hold to take us to a tiebreak, but a
6
hold it
games
is.
all. Third set tiebreak.
Tiebreak records this year for Federer: 116, lost 9. For González, 118, lost 7. They've played 2 against each other in the past, and it's an even split. All of a sudden there's this rash of errors from Federer's racket. You can see that he's really displeased with himself. It was the forehand that let him down against Nadal in the semi-finals of the French. González with an early break against the Federer serve.
But he gets this mini break back immediately. González checking through the grass which way the wind is coming.
2-1 González.
What can I tell you? This man is different than others. Got 2 points to 1 up.
Puff of dust from that Federer forehand on the sideline. Just look how that ball hopped up on the second serve and Federer got the short reply. Really are starting to play more like a hard court, the grass courts here. Very firm.
4-2, Federer.
Again, just forcing his ground strokes too much, especially on the forehand side. And Roger is making him play always one more shot. Doing nothing particular great on the return, Federer just pushing the ball back. Taking their time on the changeovers.
Did enough to force the error on the González volley. Federer pulling away in this tiebreak.
5-2, Federer.
The defending champion with 4 match points for a place in the last 4. One's enough.
Set match, Federer. 7-5, 6-2, 7-6.
Court one crowd here rising to their feet to acclaim the defending champion Roger Federer. This quarter-final had all the potential to be a Wimbledon classic. The simple fact is that Roger Federer didn't allow it to become just that. He was pretty much in control of this one right from the start. And Roger Federer, the world's best, moves smoothly through to the semi-finals on Friday.
Yeah, they're leaving the court together. Nice to see González waiting for his opponent. That's raising his arm. González can be proud of himself. His first quarter-final ever at Wimbledon. But this young Swiss man seems to be again unstoppable.
It's an hour and 50 minutes and Federer moves through to the semi-finals 7-5, 6-2, 7-6. And reaction as well, a real indication of how dangerous he felt that González could be in this quarter-final. Federer absolutely delighted to be in the semi-finals of Wimbledon once again. That's now 34 straight wins on grass, 2 Wimbledon titles, 3 titles at Halle. And he's second behind Bjorn Borg. Borg remarkably winning 41 straight grass court matches. So there it is, the world number one, the defending champion, is through to the semi-finals here at Wimbledon. An hour and 15 minutes over Chile's Fernando González, 7-5, 6-2, 7-6. A sublime performance once again from Roger Federer. He's into the last four. Let's hear his reaction now with Gary Richardson.
Many congratulations. You're through to another semi-final. Your first reaction?
Well, it's fantastic. I played a great match today. I knew he was going to be very dangerous, and I was up a break. He came back, but to be through again, it's fantastic. It's my third in a row, and Wimbledon's definitely been good to me so far.
That was the very point I was going to make. It's your third in a row. So, in a way, was it a fairly relaxing experience preparing for this? Relatively nerveless?
Before the tournament, nerves are always there. Once you get into a tournament, you start to feel better. Today, the whole match, I think I was tense because I knew, another semi-finals is possible, and then plus with a chance to maybe make the finals. So, and the danger of the opponent, it's always there. And but I'm very happy, satisfied the way I played. Crowd was fantastic. Court 1, I really enjoyed to play there as well. So, but I'm looking forward to center court, of course, next.
Tell me, how much do you think you're playing within yourself? How much can you go up a gear? Is there another gear?
I think if I keep on playing like this, that is definitely good, and I can beat any player with this level I'm playing at right now. So I'm really happy there was the last two matches, because against Federer was tough too, and today again, but both times straight sets, and that definitely gives me a lot of confidence, for the next round, that's for sure.
As a final thought to you, what's your itinerary now in terms of a semi-final? Will you follow the same sort of ritual? Are you superstitious at all? What do you do?
Well, I have no clue what I did last year before the semi-finals and the year before as well. So I just take it like the days come, and I just hope to have an enjoyable time here in Wimbledon. I always do, so I know the next 2 days will be nice as well.
Congratulations once again.
Thanks a lot.